Hey y'all, I'm Raina Harper, and welcome to EveRe-Watch Way, where I podcast a spell that takes a hold of you, for the show where I reminisce and recap the Nickelodeon fantasy series Every Which Way. We cover each episode of the show, and I go into detail on everything relating to what happens with the show, what I remember from keeping up with it in 2014 and 15, and all the fun knowledge and commentary I can bring in with it. And I'd like to say welcome to my special guest, my witchy friend, Jessica Houston, a dancer, journalism producer, editor, and Emmy Award winner, who I'm excited to welcome on today. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, yeah. And it's full transparency for people listening. We recorded this episode in full last week, but there were some technical issues with the files on one of our sides, not saying who. And I'm sorry that. Anyway, the
The magic was a miss last week.
Yeah, it was Desdemona who screwed with it. Well, suffice to say, we have to record it again. But it's no loss for me. It's a really fun time to be with you, Jessica.
Oh, thank you.
Of course, yeah, and I'm glad to discuss this show anytime with people who enjoy it, because well, I'll ask when I proposed you coming on to this podcast and explore the show Every Which Way for the first time. What were your impressions of what it would be? Did you expect to enjoy it, and did you end up finding it enjoyable?
Well, I had not heard of the show before, but I've
Mm-hmm.
always been a fan of magical shows,
Yeah,
like the old classic Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Sabrina. Yes.
Yes. So anything that has sort of a witchy theme is kind of fun. Fantasy like Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. So I was looking forward to checking it out, and I did enjoy it.
I'm so glad that you did. Yeah, you being involved with video editing and the production process, I'm sure you could pick up a few hallmarks of what the show is. Basically, an English language telenovela aimed at children, and not just that, like a soap opera aimed at children. It having a like constantly progressing storyline and very like broad soapy aspects to it. Um,
Yes, like episodic television. So I do enjoy that as well. I'm actually a fan of soap operas, so that appeals to me for sure.
Yeah, and another connection like that I feel is certainly a comparable show. Similarly to my friend Amy, who's been a guest on here before. The way you and I came together, Jessica, is through our love of the '80s cartoon Gem and the Holograms, um,
Yes.
which had you talk about like women with magic powers, and the Gem I feel is like close enough. She has the ability through technology, not
Mhm.
exactly supernatural uh, origin, but it's one where she can generate holograms of things to get out of situations, and create a new like alter ego for herself, much like anime magical girl shows. Um,
Definitely, definitely. And it has that magical aspect to it too, because she projects holograms with the earrings to get out of situations. So it's almost
yeah.
like casting spells, right?
Mm-hmm. Uh, and yeah, like synergy. I need a distraction. Creates whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Synergy. Blast the bats with sound.
Right. Yes, exactly.
uh, yeah. I know people are logging in for discussion of Every Which Way, and they're getting uh lots of tangents about a show that's not really connected to it at all. But
Right. Right.
but it but whatever. We're having fun here.
And it
And
is a
and that
fun comparison, and there are definitely parallels that I saw when I was watching the show. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely like parallels character wise,
Yes.
like with the different like tropes and like especially with romantic connections the main characters have.
Right.
They're like in Gem, especially by season 3, she's caught between like um her traditionally held boyfriend Rio and
Hmm.
the newly joined bad boy Riot. Um,
Right.
and in watching season 2 where the new character Jax comes in, I'm sure you noticed major Riot vibes with him.
Major Riot vibes. Major Riot vibes. Yes, I definitely caught on to that parallel right there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And and she sees like certain appeals with him, like though he is a major jerk. Um, like Jax is also a magic user, something that
Hmm.
would like present an easier time like getting to connect with him, especially during a time in which the witch's council are forcing her out of a relationship with someone who doesn't have magic power. So she's like, well, I at least have someone I sort of could imagine myself connecting to, uh,
Exactly. Yes.
uh, who 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 does have magic powers. Even though he there's a whole can of worms with why Jax's bad news. We'll explore that.
Right.
Um, and like we saw that like we've seen that even to a pretty big extent in the first 4 episodes of the season up until the point where you joined in, Jessica.
Hmm.
Um, and there's plenty more of events of this so to show like wow, this guy is something else.
Right. Yes.
And but also uh I'd love to ask before we get into the like moment to moment things that happen in the episode, who is your favorite character?
Ah, that's a good question. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed Emma.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I I liked her character development, and I kind of like how she's. I don't know. I usually like the sort of hero, I guess, of the
yeah,
show. So that appeals to me. But I think that also I really enjoyed Maddie because she's so bratty.
yeah, yeah. Another gem connection. She's basically Pizzazz 2.0, like in a
Yes.
young in
Like a
a
teenage pizzazz, yeah. Mhm.
yeah, uh, like exactly like growing up privileged and
Mhm.
with a not ideal parent, like
Right.
and like a parent who when you see how they act you can envision exactly how she turned out the way she did.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
And yeah, so my cousin when she was on the podcast recently said that Maddie's mom is like the worst character in the show. I can see why she said that. Um she's um is it well for a multitude of reasons. Um, and like when my cousin saw it, she was in this podcast for the finale of season 1 before
Mm.
uh Maddie's mom, Ursula is her name. What a great evocative name. Um,
Yes. Yes.
the Sea
The
Witch.
sea witch.
Um,
Yep, exactly.
uh, like she's she's now stolen Maddie's powers and is secretly just living out her best life with them.
Yeah. Wow.
It's whew, she I I think she's like probably the most like on the writer's part like intentionally hateable character.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely.
we're supposed to at least find Jax and Maddie to varying extents like endearing or funny
Mhm.
or like sympathize with them.
Right. Yes.
Um, it, to varying levels of success. Um, and
Yeah.
at least as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
And um, uh, but uh, but Ursula, like she, the it's very clearly sketched. We're supposed to hate her and find her cringeworthy and disgusting and just
Yes.
pretty vile. She's the waspy lady, you know,
Yes,
uh,
definitely.
and and pretty creepy. Um,
Yes.
towards Emma's dad, and then the way she like tries
Oh, yeah.
to
Mhm.
live out like vicariously through her daughter, you know.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, but we'll get into all these points in the as the episode does down the line. Starting
Mhm.
off with our jumping off point, like from the last episode, the leading off from the cliffhanger where so Jax is trying out to join the swim team, the Sharks, and and um and he's doing super well. He's swimming super fast, and Andy has a pair of Nurse Lily's like spell vision goggles, and is and is just like checking Jax out, and she sees like, oh my god, he's a witch. Like she sees magic spell residue on him. Clearly, he did something to speed himself up. Cast a
Exactly.
spell to give him an advantage, and she says this under her breath, and but she doesn't feel the need to tell Diego right away, who's standing right next to her. She's like, if she probably is like, if I just shouted that out right now, this would probably go badly, you know.
Right. Right.
Especially because Daniel is here. But and if I just started drama basically when I don't like have all the info I need, then that could just put me in a bad light.
Right. Yeah.
But she's like, oh my god, he is a witch. She doesn't even know the term wizard yet.
The proper term.
Yeah, and like they've never met like a male with magic powers yet. And like we've never heard like throughout the entirety of season 1 we never hear the word wizard. But just knowing that this show, like having seen it years ago, I knew that was applicable. Like
Right.
Like in some of my earlier podcast episodes, I would say like witch and wizard kind, blah blah blah.
Oh yes.
So when it could be, as my stepdad surmised, it like my stepdad was with me when I watched the season 2 premiere live before I heard the name wizard, and he surmised like, ooh, maybe he's a warlock.
Yes, yes. That's what they called them in Bewitched. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, it was witches and warlocks.
Yeah. What are they called in Sabrina? Is that?
That's a good question. I don't really remember.
Because there are like male magical characters there, right? I think I haven't seen all of it.
Well, the cat was magical, and the cat was a boy.
Yeah.
But since he was trapped in a cat body, I think they didn't really refer to him as a wizard or a warlock.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, not material to this conversation.
Right.
But anyway,
we digress.
Yeah. I'll look it up later. So so Diego is flabbergasted, and he says to Jax after the race is over, like, "Dude, I think you just broke a record." And Daniel's like, "Wait, you did? Like, what record are we talking? School? Like statewide?" And Diego's like, "World! You just broke the world record, dude! Like, what? That's crazy."
Yeah.
And it's like, Jax is like, "Well, guess my training must be paying off." What sort of training do you do, Jax? Well, you know, the usual 20-pound weight strapped to my legs with a backpack full of rocks in a Yeti costume. That's what he says, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But Diego just buys it, and Daniel does too. Is it like, huh? Cool. Like this guy, this high schooler we've never heard of, like being a swimmer before, is just casually breaking world records in a school tryout.
Yeah. Right, no big deal.
There's an episode of like H2O in that universe, like the Australian show about mermaids. In that universe, the spin-off Mako Mermaids, there's an episode where the exact same thing happens. Someone gets mermaid powers, like breaks a record in a school tryout, and the coach is like, "Whoa, where have you been hiding?" And so when this happens in just a random like school tryout for some school team, something always is suspicious.
Right. Yes.
Some magic is afoot.
Definitely.
Yeah, if someone's that fast, you would have heard about it before then. Uh,
Yeah.
and but Daniel's like, wow, like congrats, dude. He's a real good
Mm.
sport. Welcome to the
Mhm.
team, Jax. And then they're walking away, and and um and Andy calls Jax out before he leaves. I saw what you did. Did what? I I it you you cheated. No, no, I didn't cheat. Yeah, you did. You spelled it. What are you talking about? Spell WIN win. You and then and then so hilariously Andy just makes a bunch of gestures. You know. And then whew and uh and Jack's like whatever. I I know that you're a witch and then he instantly takes the bait and just comes clean and say a wizard actually. Aha! So you did cheat using magic.
Yep.
And uh yeah, you're I don't we don't accept cheaters on our team and you're not joining the Sharks. And then Jack says, "Want to bet?" He's a very confident and cocky dude. Um
Yes.
and and then walks away. Um and so that and basically Jax demands to know why Andy has the magic goggles. He's like, "You're not a witch. How do you have them?"
Mhm.
Uh, and she says like, uh, "I'm a guardian," and well, it's of course not true. But and Jax doesn't believe her, but but, but and well, I'll tell the council on you. Uh, I know them. And he's like, you know the witches council? How? Well, I've been there, says Andy. Yeah, right. Well, I've almost been there at the entrance for about 5 seconds twice. So there. I love Andy. Andy is my favorite character.
Mm.
Um, she like she just she's so extra, but like in a lovable way.
Mhm.
Um, and but like but she calls Jax a witch. Like, I know that you now we have a new witch or wizard. Sorry, correct myself. At
Mhm.
Iridium High, it reminds me of like experiences with like when I was like coming out as trans for the first time, and like people like well-meaning and like fully supportive people needing to be reminded of like, oh right, just forgot, the right pronoun to use or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and it, it, little things in this show like the there's what I find with the show is like it's deceptively like deep and layered. There's like so
Mm.
many things to like pull on and talk about. Uh,
Mhm.
did you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like it's seemingly like from the outside a show that's just meant to be like silly and like cheaply made or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, but but like it's like so many like things are like products of their time in a way that are like interesting to talk about and like products of the way it was produced or like mindsets that the writers had from back then.
Yeah,
um
definitely.
and like things in the culture
Mhm.
and like it being like part of the telenovela, like it's borrowing a lot from the telenovela ecosystem,
Mhm.
stylistically. It's very interesting. And so Andy is like, I'm gonna get out of here and report you. And then Jax is like, sorry Andy, um you're I'm casting a spell making your feet stuck to the floor. uh, and then suddenly she can't move, like in the middle of the restaurant, the Seven. And she's like, oh my god, I'm gonna get you, Jackson. And then he's just like, I'll take these, swipes the spell vision goggles out of her hands and is like, toodaloo. and and she's like, oh man, he's gonna so get it. um we cut then um I've sort of like a lot of these scenes are like jumbled up in their order.
Mm.
I'm gonna try and like put the scenes that like with the same characters together as much as possible,
Mhm.
explain them in like more solid blocks like that way. Um, so Desdemona, meanwhile, just teleports straight into Emma's house while she's just in the kitchen doing whatever, and she the witches' council, they have no respect for boundaries.
Yeah.
That they're just like, we rule over you, and you're a child, and you have to do what we say, and
Yes.
and and like we don't have respect for your agency or rules or whatever.
Right.
Um, and then she's of course startled, and and what did you think of Desdemona's hair, the giant like beehive, as my friend Tanner described it?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird.
yeah. Is it, she's the librarian, like strict school librarian stereotype, um, uh, and and but right now she's here to warn Emma about the full moon and its consequences. Like,
Yes.
and she's like, uh, I'm here to impart something important upon you. What? That I need to dump Daniel and be a good little chosen one? Hmm. Uh, well, well, yes, that would be ideal. But more importantly, right now, the full moon is approaching, and Lily's like, well, and I was like, yeah, yeah. Lily told me it does bad stuff and can affect people in bad ways. I'll be careful. And then and then she's like, well, is what is it going to transform me into a penguin? And then Desdemona's like, well, that could happen, but probably not. More, I love it. Um, uh, like, the full moon can affect people's personalities in extreme ways. It can just make them act like a completely different person. And and then right then, Daniel knocks on the door and is like, knock, 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 pizza delivery, which is a code, as Emma explains, that to so that Emma can get him at the door without tipping off her dad, because her dad has a super strong like point of hatred for Daniel, which when whenever I catch myself saying "witch," I laugh internally. um, at yeah, uh, the way that the whole thing of Emma's dad, Principal Alonso, hating Daniel, like when he's like really done, like he's done basically nothing to deserve it, and like
Mhm.
his dislike of him is like just the result of having a bunch of misunderstandings over and over again.
Mhm.
And, like Daniel is like a very sweet kid. He doesn't have like a mean bone in his body, but but like due to magic shenanigans or just plain bad luck, thousands of times uh, uh, to in front of Principal Alonso, it's just that's the source of this like constantly like running gag of like, oh my god, whenever he runs in, those two run into each other, bad things happen for Daniel. And I think it's gone like this happened a while ago. It went long past the point of being funny.
Hmm. Yeah.
It, uh, at, at some point, it's just like mean spirited,
Right. Right.
and and yeah, I, I mean it's not exactly in play here, but well, it's referenced, and it's like
Mhm.
the 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 fact that they just drag it out this long, and as far as I remember, there's like never a point where they like have a discussion about it, like
Hmm.
or or that it's addressed like either like maybe Emma's dad gets comeuppance of some kind for just treating him too harshly, or
Hmm.
like Daniel like explains himself, like maybe spills his guts and they like reach some sort of understanding. As far as I remember, that never happens. That would make the show much stronger if it did. I think
Right. Yeah, definitely.
like that could be a really good moment. But,
It could, yeah.
uh, especially if you're going to drag it out this long, like milk it so much.
Yeah.
Oh well. Um, and so um, he so he so he's like, pizza delivery, knock knock knock, and Emma says to Desdemona, "You better get out of here. Can't let him see you. I get what you're saying. We'll talk later. Yeah, full moon bad. Got it." Uh, and and is like, "Please go." And Desdemona's like, "Ugh." Emma goes to answer the door. No, well, she goes to answer the door, but then Daniel just opens the door without asking.
Hmm.
He, like, I thought your whole point was to like make sure that that Emma's dad didn't see you. You
That the
just
coast
open
is
the door.
clear. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you don't like if she opened the door, that would indicate the coast is clear. But
Right.
you don't know for a fact he's not like just like at the
Just
edge of the
hanging
room
out
and
there. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, uh, dumb decision, Daniel.
Yeah.
You're lucky he wasn't around at all. Um,
Yes.
but and but right as they're saying hi to each other at the threshold, Desdemona's like, "Whatever, I'm gonna teleport away." And right after she poofs away, the chair she was sitting in falls over, and 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 um and Daniel's like, "Whoa, that was weird. The chair fell over. What? What could be the source of this?"
Right.
And 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 Emma's like, it must was probably just the wind or whatever that knocked it over. There might have been a draft through here, but Daniel, he's like, doesn't buy it. He bends down and like looks at the chair from multiple different angles, like a detective.
Right.
Like it's, I see. Hmm. The chair fell down. He's like, he doesn't say this, but I imagine he's thinking it. Like, the chair fell down this angle. Like, what could this? Did it slip this way? But there must be a rational explanation for this that I need to spend time figuring out right now.
Right.
Because it turns out he has like magic on the brain. Is like, is there latent magic around here somewhere? Like, and he's like being, we can tell like he's kind of being mistrustful of his girlfriend. Like, is she lying to me about having her powers?
Hmm.
That and but Emma's like, "Hey, Daniel, why? Is there something you're like expecting to find by looking at this chair?"
Right.
And he's like, "Hmm, it might have, it must have been by magic that this chair fell over." And Emma deflects like, "No, that couldn't be. You see, Maddie and I both lost our powers. There, so there's no way it could have been magic." And Daniel just buys that as well. Like, um, he was suspicious, but he also just buys when Emma said like, it wasn't me or Maddie, so definitely not magic.
Right.
As in, there's no
That's
other
the only
possible
other exactly.
source of magic
Yeah.
in the North Miami area.
Yep.
That I mean, it like in the first season there were two witches and a kanai at one school. So,
Hmm.
but and like we never like the show is super insular. We never hear of like witches in other cities for the most part. Like,
Right.
uh, like even what I recall of like the show as a whole, like we never hear like, you know, a witch in this in New York did this, or some
Right.
witches in other cities might be doing this. Like
Hmm.
they're just like, oh, we're only worried about the 3 or 4 witches around here.
Right.
That's all they ever talk about. uh, and it, it's honestly comical. Like, oh, like there's a moment in the first season where Maddie's mom is like coaxing Maddie to like about taking Emma's powers, and she says like, together, once you take Emma's powers, we will rule North Miami. She ac- she
North
actually says
Miami.
that. Like, and you're like, that's it? That's all you have your sights
Not
on?
the world. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just rule North Miami. That I mean,
Woo!
she's thinking realistically, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what those are words I would use to describe Ursula, someone who thinks realistically. Um, um, and but Daniel basically he thinks like, oh, there might be another witch at school. Ah, what? We gotta skip town. We gotta get away from these witches. And he he just, he just instantly sees like um the they're like, sorry, I just got a message. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I'll read that later. They're like, I he Daniel basically thinks like, oh my god, if there's he just thinks of magic as like, oh my god, bad, got to get rid of it, kill it with fire or run away.
Right.
And I can see why Emma gets offended. Like,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
like he was exposed to magic for a little while, and like that didn't affect Emma being a good person. Like,
Right.
and in his eyes, like, yeah, yeah, she was being weird in the first season, like, but only through having to hide magic from him, like out of self-preservation, because that was pretty important. But now that
Yeah.
he knows about magic, and Emma like used it with him, and like he suffered no effects from it through her. I mean, the villain of the series, the first season, the principal, I mean, like he used magic to ill effect, but and like I get why he has some fear of it, but to act like, oh my god, someone mentioned magic, run, you know, we got to get away from this, and like not like not realizing like Emma would like regardless consider it a like strong element of who she is. Like,
Absolutely. That's
if
like
you,
saying run away from yourself.
yeah, it, oh my god, get like this, like like I'm just spitballing here, but a comparison I could make is like, you know, autism, you know, like
Yeah.
like 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 sure, like autism can cause problems, you know, in your life and for others, but to act like it's some demonic thing to get away from, like you know, organizations like Autism Speaks do, and that they it like it leads to, you know, a lot of like villainizing of the people who have it, you know.
Right.
I know, like I know having magic powers and autism, that's a very awkward comparison, but it you can see like some line there, like
Yeah.
uh, yeah, don't think too hard into that. Like I don't, of course, don't consider because like that's a trope that's harmful as well. Autism, like being magic, and like you can solve like math problems super fast. It's of course like depending on the person. Like a lot of people don't treat it as superpower, you know, or
Right.
that was just something I came up with off the top of my head. Don't think
Yeah.
about it too hard. Um, just covering my bases here. Um, but you get what I mean. It's a part of
Yeah.
magic is a part of who Emma is, and Daniel was super dismissive of it,
Exactly. Yeah. Mhm.
and they then Daniel and Emma get into a huge fight, and he basically insults Emma being a witch. Like, oh, you want to
Mhm.
get away from witches, like me? Like
Right.
whether or not I have powers, I'm still a witch. Uh,
Exactly.
uh, and and Daniel's like, no, I didn't mean get away from witches like that. Like, uh, and uh, and then Emma opens up the door and says, there is someone that I want to get away from. Like, and and then Daniel's like, he like gets mad back, even though he's the one who screwed up.
Mhm.
Uh, Fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Like like dude, like how take a look at yourself right now. Uh, like I know you like have I know you're not exactly on like the same philosophical page about this, but like you can see you've made your girlfriend upset. Just like
Exactly.
take that as a cue to like think about yourself for a little bit.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Um so yeah, so she slams the door, and I'm sure Emma thinks of this as like, well, now I don't have to make the decision between Daniel and my powers anymore.
Right.
Uh, she's I'm sure like Emma feels like in some way a bit relieved, like, well, that's off my shoulders now, I guess.
Yeah.
I know this wasn't like a relationship ender of a fight, but still, she could at least like see that light in the distance of like maybe this whole dilemma could be over if Daniel just like gave me a reason to dump him, you know.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, um, so yeah, Andy is still stuck in a 7. Meanwhile, Tommy and Robert, Daniel's younger brothers, approach her because they're under a love spell from eating the love pie that Ursula cast the love spell on. And they apparently looked at Andy. They figure this out later and now are now in love with her. And they're like, hey, Andy. They approach her with flowers and a love poem and a scroll. Um, and 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 Andy's like, oh, hey guys, how'd you know I was here? Oh, Daniel told us where you were. Oh, good. I'm just glad you didn't insert a tracking device into my arm or something. Then Tommy pulls out a tracking device injector gun and just injects one into her arm. What?
He just
These
happened to
kids,
have one.
yeah, the like at the ready, like, yeah, we
Oh, good
how,
idea. Let's do that.
yeah. How many times have they used that? These kids are like using like tracking devices on people to keep tabs on them. Where where'd you get one? How do these kids have access to that?
Exactly.
The and, and like it's implied, like it's stated that like they have a lot of different things to use for pranks, like liquid nitrogen and mud and all that. A lot of it is bankrolled by their grandma. I'm not kidding. Um,
Oh.
they're like, Daniel's like, wait, where'd you get this liquid nitrogen? And they're like, and one of them is like, grandma, and Daniel's like, oh, of course.
Wow.
uh, so so their grandma aids and abets them in their very
And their mischief
elaborate,
making.
yeah, they're making mischief. They're making mischief. Making mischief.
Yep.
There, yeah, so many scenes and like so many gem songs are applicable to things in this show as well. Um, yeah, but since Andy can't get away, she's forced to endure Robert or Tommy's love poem. He unfurls the scroll and he says
Mhm.
like, "Here's my love poem to you. Uh, A is for Andy that likes to eat candy. B is for beauty." But it's confusing because it doesn't. You think like if it starts with A, it's either gonna go like through the ABCs
Mhm.
or like spell out Andy.
Right.
Uh, but it
Exactly.
but it but it goes, A is for Andy, B is for beauty, I is for imagine. Like
Yeah,
what?
what's up with
What's that?
that?
What's that supposed to be?
I
Uh,
don't know.
like, a big heart? I don't know. It's like you think it would be one of those two things. Whatever. But then apparently it cuts away. Andy tries super hard to get away. She can't move. And it's really funny. I love Andy's facial expression in that moment. She's like, "Oh my god, I need to get out of here.
Yep.
This is torture." And, and apparently, as well, Robert sings a song, uh, a love song that sounds like Daniel if Daniel were a tone deaf chipmunk.
Ah.
And but but meanwhile, Desdemona, she decides that in order to watch over Emma, she needs to get a job at the school. They her and Agamemnon, the witches' council members, appear through the portal in the school's lockers. Um, isn't that great? I could have sworn like Sabrina has things like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And so like Agamemnon is like, No, Desdemona, you don't have to do this. Uh, yes, I have to. I need to watch over Emma during the full moon. But we have lots of witches and wizards to watch over the full moon. You know how everyone gets. No, trust me, this is important. I'm gonna go find the principal so I can get a job at this school. The job that she decides on is becoming the next gym teacher. When you and as we see, she's not the slightest bit qualified to become a gym teacher.
Nope.
She doesn't even know the proper names of human sports. Um, I don't know how she got hired. I bet
Yeah,
she cast a spell on him or
sh-
something.
had
That
to have
must be it.
cast a spell. Yeah.
And but so Andy, um, and Emma, they're walking together in school. Emma must have freed her, I guess, um, from being stuck in place. But
Mhm.
they're like talking and catching each other up on things like, oh yeah, Tommy and Rob, they approached me with declarations of love and the song and all that, and then they talk about like how they're gonna have to resolve the situation with Emma's dad and Maddie's mom, like, and how
Mm.
Maddie and Emma are working together in order to accomplish this. And Andy's like, it's so weird watching you and Maddie work together, like sisters they are, but they're trying to make it so that they won't actually become sisters, but
Right.
while acting like sisters,
Right.
like one's with with a bond of some kind, but they have like animosity. It's pretty
Yes.
it's pretty amusing. Um, and but while they're talking about all this, Jax is creepily like walking a bit behind them, like, ooh, listening in, yeah. Is it? And we get a tracking shot, uh, like it's like a oneer. You ever use that term, the oneer, as they walk down a hallway, like a long take?
A long
Um,
take. Yeah. A one take.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, and uh, and I'm sure you noticed this. There's a bit where the camera like shakes and like rattles a little bit.
Yes.
Like you've worked on video projects. You could and like I have as well. Like you can see a lot of the production. Like whenever there's a like little production like idiosyncrasy, I'm like, oh, caught
Yeah.
that. Uh, like in season one, like Maddie, like Maddie, the way like Maddie's gasps and like the way it's edited together, I could like instantly tell. Oh, that gasp was dubbed in. That wasn't recorded
Yes.
on.
Right.
Um, like the way like we hear the gasp and then it cuts to her lips. Like the lips are not like in quite the right position to have just gasped.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, they just edited that
They
in.
dubbed
Yeah.
that in. Yeah.
And, and yeah. I also love catching sometimes in the show characters like put the emphasis on the wrong syllable in their words.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Uh, um, like the like Andy at one point says, or a Tasmanian devil. You would normally say it Tasmanian devil.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, she, but she's like, what's an odd emphasis on Tasmanian devil? The,
Yeah.
the, anyway,
It's a
the
strange directorial choice or maybe just acting choice. I don't know.
uh, I'm. It seems like they don't do too many takes. So if they so like they're a
Right.
bit they're like being handed the scripts and like have to record them really fast. So
Yeah.
if they like say a word a little bit oddly, they just move on. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah.
That could be like a budget thing because
Yeah.
maybe they don't have time to do many takes.
Yeah. Especially them being teenagers and labor
Right.
laws.
Right.
Um.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you have to pay them by the day, but they also can't work too many hours a day.
Exactly. Yeah.
So have to make compromises because of that. Um,
Right.
I mean, it's fun to like point out and like make jokes about, but we also like understand like
Right.
these are just things that happen.
Yeah.
Especially on productions of this sort, you don't have a big budget and you have to make compromises.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
have to shoot it quickly, and So but they don't notice them. They don't notice Jax standing like behind them, and they're talking about like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna steal. I conscripted the Terrible Three to steal the goggles back from Jax because Jax stole the Spell-O-Vision goggles, and I also instructed them to dump a bunch of rotten fish on him for good measure. But then as they get to their lockers, Jax comes up and is like, hey Andy. I was like, stop trying to get into my locker. But this is my locker. Oh yeah? Opens up the locker. Well, what'd you do? Did you use magic to put your locker right next to Emma's? Yep. And now your locker is all the way at the other end of the school where mine originally was. Screw you, Jax.
Yeah.
And then and you better give me back the goggles that you stole. What, your swimming goggles? He like taunts Andy. Bad move. Never taunt Andy.
Yes.
She will end you.
That's right.
And she's like, you better run to escape. Pulls her backpack around to escape my chainsaw. Andy having a chainsaw in her backpack, like, yeah, that's a pretty amusing image, but also like
kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if this, yeah, if it weren't this show, I would suggest that Andy get expelled. But we're in the type of universe where you can where it's like nothing is that serious. So
I guess, yeah.
Even the dire consequences are pretty comical in this show.
Right.
By the way, when Andy like threatens Jax, he does the funniest run away. He can't stand upright. He stumbles. Like yeah, no one in this show knows how to run properly.
Yes. It's true. It's a comical run every time.
Yeah. And then we cut to Maddie walks out of a door and Gigi is there. Pop in to interview you, or because apparently there's a school royalty wedding, and Gigi's here to interview one of the co-maids of honor, Maddie. And Maddie's like, oh yes, I'm here. Yes, being on TV or the school blog. Gotta look like my pretty self. So Maddie, what are your plans for the wedding? How many people are you gonna invite? Is it gonna be a big thing or only the closest people? And and Maddie's like, we're gonna keep it pretty close and intimate. I invite only those who know that even if you argue, you'll always be there for each other. And looks at Diego holding the camera. Diego's being such a sweet brother. He's Gigi's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives him like, you're really endearing me to you, Maddie. And then like, then Gigi's like, wow, that's really sweet. That's like the most genuine thing you've ever said, Maddie. Next question. And I was like, nope, we're done here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yep.
And there you have it, an exclusive from Misinformation. And then Diego says like, wow, that was really sweet. It makes me want to forgive you for forcing me to be your proxy. And then she's, oh, Maddie's a real piece of work. She says like, she gives a laugh like, ha ha ha, me? You forgive me? It's me who should have to forgive you for refusing to be my proxy in the first place. She's like, she's always like, you have to make things up to me. I'm the center of the universe.
Right.
Yeah. That seems like something Pizzazz would do. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. She wants to be the center of the universe, right?
Yeah, like multiple times she causes a helicopter crash, and then she yells at the helicopter pilot, "This piece of junk!"
Right, and you don't know how to fly.
Yeah, and also you being berserk and crazy caused the crash.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and now of course you're making everyone else but you carry your stuff.
Yep.
That I think that happens both in the Rock and Roll Express episode and the Aztec Enchantment episode.
It
That
does.
exact
Yep.
same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Um. So, uh, M- Maddie and Pizzazz would get along. I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
they,
definitely think so too.
they see eye to eye on stuff.
They do.
Uh, but then they would both like yell at each other as well. You witchy twerp.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The, uh, yeah, I'm definitely gonna write an Every Which Way X Gem fan fiction and then just leave a bunch of free copies on the table at Gen Con this year.
That would be fun. Yeah.
If any, people might be interested to read that, I don't know.
I would read it. Yeah.
So, it, yeah. Anyway, so I don't try not to take up too much of your time. Sorry. So, um, so Jax understands that something is wrong between Emma and Daniel, and so he's gotten that vibe because um, well, so and so he's like, he sees the coldness between them, like, and and Daniel's like, oh, Emma, what are you doing here? They're like talking super awkwardly, like,
Hmm.
and Emma's like, I'm eating lunch, same as you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, see you later, I guess. And but then Jax like things are going well from Jax's perspective.
Of
If like
course.
considering that he wants them to break up, things are
Right.
going in that direction. But
Yeah.
he has to game it. So he casts a spell to make Emma fall over. She falls directly into Daniel's arms, like making him drop his food. Uh, but then they start like getting over apologetic with each other, like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Can't believe you did that. Oh, thanks for catching me." And they actually start to rebuild things. And
Yeah.
and like, "Oh, let me get that for you." Blah blah blah. I'm so sorry. Like they actually talk in unison. And no, that was my fault. No, let me get that.
Yeah.
And Jax is like, "Oh man, I ruined it, didn't I?"
Yeah.
good good job, idiot.
Exactly. You blew it.
Yeah. You you blew it by trying to blow it for them when things
Yeah.
what like you got greedy. Like it wasn't going fast enough for you, I guess.
Right.
And and then Jax like tries to manipulate Daniel, being like, oh, are things rocky between you and Emma? Oh yeah, but well yeah, we're trying to rebuild things though. Love is tough, man. I get it. Uh, maybe you'd be better off if you just broke up with her. I'm no shrink, but
Mhm.
from me to you, and I'm just saying. and,
Yeah.
uh, and but then the terrible three, or Tommy, I think the youngest one, like is like, um, hello, excuse me, sir. Can you? I forgot how to get home. Can you help me? And using this as a distraction for the other two to sneak around and get the spell-vision goggles from his stuff behind his back.
Mhm.
And once they grab it and disappear around the corridor, Tommy's like, "Actually, I remembered how to get home. Thanks anyway.
Thanks.
Bye."
Bye. Yeah.
And Jax is like, "What was that?
Yeah.
Weird. These weird little kids. Why are they at this school anyway?
Exactly.
They don't. They definitely don't go here."
Yep.
Um, and so they bring the goggles back to Andy, and eh, and then and then yeah, that's when the scene with Jax trying to manipulate Daniel happens, and then but I think the T3 like pick up on what he's trying to do, like
Yeah.
like they're like, you're trying to pull something with Daniel, and
Mhm.
like they don't know exactly what's going on, but they can see that he's trying to do something
Yeah.
that's not
Something
right.
shady. Yeah.
and so they're like, um, is it, uh, watch out, Jack. There's something fishy around. What? They like do something, pull the mechanism, and then dump a bunch of fish on his head. Fish
Yep.
that are definitely not rubber. Um,
They're bouncy.
yeah, like whoop, they just fall on his head, and then they're like, you kids, I'm gonna get you.
Yep.
And then he stumble runs again.
Yep.
It's great. I mean, Jax might be a swimmer, but he's no track runner.
Right.
He should use magic to get better at that.
He needs a spell for that, definitely.
Or he could just, practice and get good at sports legitimately. But that's not the Jax way.
I don't
of
think
things.
that's his style. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he learned from the Misfits using their tools to cheat. Like
yes.
The pole vault pole with the spring.
With the springs on it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the spring shoes. That was a great sequence. And like Stormer puts on the shoes like, what? So you like,
and she was going boing, boing, boing.
Like 50 feet in the air. Like,
yeah.
Wah! It was great.
Hot time in Hawaii.
Yes. Where are the Misfits in Hawaii?
Yep.
Anyway. I keep going off on gym tangents. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So Andy has the Spell-O-Vision goggles back. The T3 like gift them back like for you. Oh my god! Thank you guys. You say what you want about the T3. They can they're reliable. They'll accomplish a task for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But then Andy sees that someone cast a spell on the pie, and this is probably the reason why Emma's dad fell in love with Maddie's mom, and why the T3 fell in love with her. It must work that they eat the pie and then fall in love with the first person that they see.
Mm-hmm.
So Emma just breaks the spell on the T3, and they're like, "Whoa, what are we doing here? Did we walk home to the wrong house?" I'm afraid so, kids. But don't worry, your house is right across the street. I'll walk you there. Andy being coy about it, and it's pretty funny. I'll walk you there. Andy's the best. I love basically all of Andy's line deliveries. They're awesome. But then they break the spell on her dad at the 7. Like in the middle of them eating caviar pizza again. Man, you get that that Ursula is the gaudy waspy lady.
Oh yeah,
she eats caviar pizza.
Yep.
That sounds awful.
It does. It sounds terrible. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah. And the performance that like once Emma's dad snapped out of the spell, the actor gives the best comedic performance ever. It's like, whoa, what am I doing here? And Maddie's mom is like, so about the wedding. I think I know you said that a 50-piece orchestra is too much, and he's like, whoa, wait, what wedding?
What wedding? Yeah.
Mine? You're getting married? I love it, and she's like shell shocked, like, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I never thought that would happen. I mean, congratulations, and you getting married. I can't believe. I mean, congrats. Look at the time. I better get going. Congrats again on your wedding. Sometime I'd love to meet the victim. I mean the groom. It's so great. And then she just left like, how'd that slip away? But then Diego freezes Maddie's smoothie to exactly the right level. And like, here, I brought your smoothie, your strawberry coconut smoothie. It chilled to exactly the level that you like. She takes a sip and is like, wow, this is the exact level of frozen that I like. And like, oh yeah, I just used my my ice breath to get it there. And wow, yeah, the Katie and Sophie have been trying for years and they've never gotten the exact level of coldness of the smoothie right. You're good stuff, Diego. And and well, does that mean you forgive me now? For because he's gone from forgiving her to accepting her logic of her needing to forgive him,
Yeah.
because he's desperate to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, "I." She like looks up, gives a gleeful look, and is like, "I 20% forgive you." And he's like, "Oh boy, that's good. Only 80% to go." Oh my God, Diego, wake up!
Yeah. So cringe.
Yeah, it's like, but he just lets Maddie get. He's an enabler.
Yeah, he is. He's so
Uh,
desperate to be with her.
yeah, so like it. There's pick a better person, Diego. Come on, there's got to be someone better for you. Um, but I guess there's only like 8 characters in this show, so maybe there isn't.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, Desdemona gets a new job as the school gym teacher. It's like, all right, kids, get changed. Uh, Desdemona, you're working here now? Oh yes. Now get changed. We're gonna go play badminton ball. um, but then later she comes to Emma's house and she tells Emma that like, yeah, preparing for the full moon is very important. And uh, but back during that time, she had Emma's mother as a friend to help her out. Things were weird for Desdemona during that time, and like Emma's like, "Well, what happened to you? Your personality changed, huh? What happened?" Well, I don't remember much, but 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 your mother like helped me and kept me stable and kept things from getting too bad. I'm grateful for that. And so they like share a moment of connection over like
Mm-hmm.
remembering Emma's mom, who Emma never knew because she died when Emma was a baby.
Right.
Um, or actually when Emma was born, in fact. So
Hmm.
the it it led in the very first episode of the show when we find this out, and uh, Maddie's mom was like, "Is there a Mrs. Francisco in the mix?"
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
well, and he's like, "Well, she died when Emma was born."
Hmm.
And Maddie's mom was like, "Oh dear." And Maddie, who's in the room, she screams, "Awkward!"
Yeah.
So like, no, Maddie, you're the one who made it awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was pretty funny. Anyway, um, so 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 they share a nice moment together. But then later in in this episode's most comical moment, when the full moon starts, Desdemona turns into her in like
Into a
her
fool.
personality. Yes, yes, and like she turns evil under the light of the full moon,
Hmm.
and the way this is represented is like, oh no, the light of the full moon is happening. Oh no, ah! She tries to block the light from her eyes. Ah, oh no, it's back again. And then we see a flash of light, and then she comes back up in all black clothing and like wearing black lipstick. So that's how we know when someone's evil,
Right.
when they're all dressed in black. Um,
Yes.
and she's like, ah ha 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 ha. I'm back, baby. Basically, uh,
Yeah.
I'm going to enact a plan to destroy the chosen one and all witches in the world, so that I will be the most powerful. So, whatever, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. So, it's so comical. This actress goes for it.
Yeah.
It's great. Um and
And it's
so
the full moon, right? FOOL, not
yes,
full moon.
it's the full moon.
Yes.
The turn it could turn you into a penguin, or
Right.
but that's unlikely.
Right, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, and but then Daniel comes to Emma's room and he's like, knock on the window. He's like, "Come on, Emma, we'll have her come out to this thing I've prepared." They're ready to. So Daniel has prepared a romantic like sort of date, but by a dock or something, and like, wow, we're on the water and there's the light of the moon, and you brought jelly beans and a blanket and whatnot, and Emma says like, wow, Daniel, did you do this? And I said to myself, no, he just walked up to some conveniently placed jelly beans and
Right.
candy and whatnot, on a romantic
That
spot.
someone else set up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Daniel didn't do this. This is just there.
Right.
And so they share a cheek kiss, and they have a romantic night by the light of the full moon, and and but then Emma remembers like, oh no, it's the full moon. I better not expose myself to the moon for too long. Better go back. She like gives an excuse to leave early, and so like, well, thanks for preparing this. And then they end the night there. Jax then teleports into Emma's house, and again, not for the first time, and he like starts acting like a jerk, and like, whoa, Emma, why so hostile? You know, we all know folks like this who just
Yeah.
just start acting like jerks, and then make fun of you for not approving of it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it? What have I ever done to you? And then she starts listing his indiscretions, like you disrespected me over and over again, gotten me in trouble, put your feet all over my stuff, tried to break me and Daniel apart, things like that.
Yeah.
And cheated in swimming and all. But then, well, how can you get mad at me with this? Cast a spell. Oh my God, bunnies! Cast a bunch of bunnies everywhere. And but then when Daniel comes to the door, he like opens it up after while Emma's casting a spell, and then they're like, and then he's like, Emma, you have your powers again? What? Oh dear, he found out. So then Emma's like, oh, I should cast the spell to erase his memory of what just happened, so he'll forget, just seeing the spell just now. That's it. And she says a spell out loud. She hasn't figured out the
how to think it.
Yeah, how to think it yet. Oh, I skipped the scene accidentally where Jax comes up to Maddie at the table and it tells her about thinking spells into existence.
Oh yes, right.
Where he sits down this is right after the Diego and the smoothie thing. He sits down right at the table. She's like on her phone. She doesn't even look up and is like, "Did I say you could sit with me?"
Right.
Well, no, but you're gonna be glad I did. I'm a wizard. Yeah, right. And then he just thinks a spell that zaps her phone out of her hand and into his hand. And it's like, whoa, how'd you do that? You didn't even say a spell.
Right.
Well, yes, I did. In my head. You can do that? Yeah, I can teach you. Now just try saying a spell out loud. I can't right now. Why not? Well, I lost my powers. Oh, that must mean the Magic Council took them away without telling you. Well, then I'll march up to them and get them back. Well then, you clearly don't know the Witches' Council. Maybe not, but I know Maddie Van Pelt, and Maddie Van Pelt always gets what she wants. Yep, you points for confidence,
right?
I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And does it balance out with her her spoiled nature that she's confident? I don't know. It's funny. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that scene happened, and so Emma casts a memory spell. She says it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Jax hears it, like
Mm-hmm.
definitely. No, undebatably he hears it. But then he casts a memory spell at the same time that she can't hear, and
Right.
so them simultaneously casting spells at him apparently like makes it super like hard to reverse the effect of them like reverse erasing his memory. They basically erase all memory of all
Yeah.
important things. They like make him a blank slate, uh,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Double the power.
yeah, uh, and uh, and Jax has the gall to say like, I didn't realize you were casting a spell.
Hmm.
Oh my god, Jax, you, I I hate you so much. We're on episode 5 or 6 of this season of you being in this show, and I already hate you a lot. So yeah, that not a good sign for him in my eyes.
Yeah.
And but but then Emma says like I'm gonna go get get the council for help, and Jack's like no you can't. The council like I had a magic misdemeanor once, and the council almost took away my powers.
Hmm.
But then my dad, jumped in and got me out of it. If they get me in trouble again, I could lose my powers for good.
Hmm.
Maybe you should to learn a lesson. I don't know. Maybe if you keep doing bad stuff that warrants it, you should.
Yeah.
Just accept responsibility for once in your life, dude.
Yeah.
That's all that always irks me with it, like particularly in shows with people like that. Just like you got
Hmm.
to take the rap for me. Why?
Yeah.
Maybe you should just accept the consequences of the thing that you did.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if you keep getting in trouble for things that you did to the point that like something really bad is going to happen, then maybe work on yourself. That's the answer.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, uh, but it's hard to get through to people who are like that, you know.
Yes,
Uh,
it is. Mm-hmm.
um, but but so they surmise like, oh, I could get the hexer in to figure out a spell, and you and Jax is like, I'll watch Daniel while you're gone. No, I don't trust you. Well, no, you definitely can trust me.
Mm.
She can't trust him.
Mm-mm.
Because
No.
he he makes it worse while she's
Of
gone to go
course.
get the hexer in by just screwing with Daniel by saying like you're
Yep.
actually German, and then he's like, oh yes I am the German. And
Yes.
starting the like I've watched through this whole show up till now. I've seen some pretty like this show has some pretty bad jokes in it.
Yeah.
This is the most cringeworthy thing we've seen
Yeah.
in this show thus far. Uh, oh my god, it's unbearable. These scenes of Daniel doing a German accent.
Yeah.
Like I'm the little German boy. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
is a pretty girl.
Oh.
Uh, 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 oh, also how Jack says like, oh yeah, my dad got me out of it. He's a pretty influential guy, like Mark Zuckerberg man.
Right.
Haha, he doesn't know about like normal human things.
No.
He, wow. The, like I said, some bad jokes in this show.
Right.
Eh, like some very low hanging fruit humor.
Right.
But that like so then Daniel like slicks his hair to the side. He acts like and he puts on like suspenders and the shirt and like as a little German child.
Yeah.
It's so cringe.
Definitely.
It's like, and then he does it. Then Gigi comes up to him and and she's like, "Whoa, he's acting weird. I could do a misinformation piece on this." And like, hey, Daniel, your swim meet is coming up, right? Uh, I swim. Uh, 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 yeah, the big meet's coming up between the dolphins and the sharks. Do you think you're gonna win? Well, I, 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 I am scared of the sharks, so I want the dolphins to win. And does a stupid grin. I
Oh,
want the dolphins to win.
great.
Uh, and the and you can see in Gigi's face, she's like genuinely concerned. She's
Yeah,
like, "What? This is weird. Why are you acting like this, Daniel?"
exactly.
She puts the camera down and is like, "Daniel, seriously, what's going on? This is concerning."
Yeah.
Uh, and did you hit your head or something? Oh, maybe I did hit my head. Uh, and then Gigi's like, maybe I should call your parents and work. They can help work this out. And Jax is like, oh no, we can't let her call the parents on this. So while she has her phone up to her head, Jax casts a spell and like, I'll blow up her phone, and her phone like just like a puff of smoke. It like there's an actual like small like burst in her phone, and like and like smoke comes out of it. She looks at the screen, it's shattered. He
Wow.
could have that could have seriously hurt her, shattering
Yeah,
glass right next to her head. Jax just
exactly.
doesn't care about anyone.
Nope.
He did this out of he
To protect
he
himself.
to
Yeah.
protect himself
Hmm.
from the consequences of him screwing around
Yeah,
it, as a result of him not paying or as a result of him being a jerk in another way.
exactly.
We're
Yeah.
like 3 layers deep. Like that could have seriously hurt her.
Yeah.
But, uh, and and then she's like, "Oh my god, my phone, my all my pictures, my videos, my
Yeah.
blackmail. Oh no,
Great.
oh no." And then Daniel's like, "Whoops, sorry, phones like they must have gotten so overloaded with information that just blew up. It
Right.
just burst. Happens to phones all the time.
Happens
Sorry
all the
about that.
time.
Hope it gets fixed. Come on, Daniel. Bye." And then Emma comes back and and um and with the proper she's like worked out a proper spell and Daniel says, "Oh my god, it's the pretty girl from before." Every time he says something in his German accent, I die a little inside.
Yeah.
uh, and oh the oh oh it's the oh sorry I mixed up. He has to go to the school in his German state, and he doesn't remember the combination to his locker. He's like, oh, fiddling with it. I know. And so Andy, if, MacGyver Andy, she pulls out a pair of bolt cutters and just cuts the lock off the locker and opens it up. Wow.
She just happened
We,
to have them in her backpack.
I mean, it's Andy. Of course she does.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Daniel sees Emma. Oh my God, the pretty girl from before. And yeah, things get out of control, and Emma asks Lily for help. And she's like, "Oh, I have my magic mobile phone. I'll just call Lily." She presses a button on it, and it zaps Lily right into the room. She's wearing camo, apparently doing some kind of like hunting training exercise in the magical wilderness. And she's like, "Whoa, Emma, you I guess you need me, huh? What's the deal?" And and she tells him about the situation with Daniel's memory, and she basically advocates just keeping Daniel as he is, because as long as Daniel doesn't know about her powers, then she doesn't have to get rid of them.
Right.
Uh, and like basically, she gives an ultimatum: either keep Daniel's memory loss, or Emma's powers get taken away. Your choice.
Hmm.
Wow, the fact that Lily, like who was defending Emma at least a
Hmm.
bit earlier, is now like rules are rules. You have to do
Yeah.
this. It's you can't possibly date a human boy if you're the chosen one.
Hmm.
But and she's like fully rigid on that and like not being like empathetic about it at all. It's
Yeah.
uh, like wow. Lily was my second favorite character throughout season 1. Not so much now.
Yeah. Up to this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, then we get to my favorite scene in the episode. Diego, he begs the Panthers after doing a bunch of handiwork at Maddie's house. You have to tell me things that Maddie likes so that I can impress her
Oh, yes.
and get into her good graces.
Mhm.
And they use it. So did you get the sense that they were doing this on purpose? Like,
Yes. I think they were trying to mess with him.
well, she and Diego's like, get on with it. All right. She likes white chocolate and hates dark chocolate. No. She likes dark chocolate and hates white chocolate. He's just trying to fiercely get all this down.
Yeah.
She likes romantic comedies. No, she likes horror
Yeah.
movies. Did you get the vibe that
Mhm.
Katie and Sophie were doing this on purpose? Or
Yeah, definitely.
well, she loves unicorns. No. Unicorns freak her out. She hates winged horses. Unicorns aren't winged horses. Get your fantasy terminology right.
Exactly.
That you're thinking of Pegasus is
Right.
Pegasi.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then as a result, he comes back to Maddie's house later with a wagon full of stuff.
Yeah.
That he bought basically all the stuff that they mentioned in order to cover all his bases.
Right.
And we get a for their relationship a pretty sweet scene.
Yeah.
Of like, well, I brought you some presents. Ooh, what'd you bring me? And then we get a montage of him showing her the stuff, like the different chocolates and
Yeah.
the blankets, and she starts likes some of them, but then she clearly shakes her head at some of it.
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh, here's a horror movie. Rah! And she's like, ah, get that away.
Yeah.
And another thing that Katie and Maddie said was like, yeah, no, don't get her any goose feather blankets. No, she's not allergic to. She's allergic to geese, but not to geese feathers. They actually phrase it that way. It's pretty funny. And so we get a whole montage of her looking gleefully at some stuff, but no at some stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, Diego's like, "Well, what do you think? I hate dark. Oh no, I hate horror movies and blah 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 and unicorns freak me out. Huh. But as Diego looks discouraged for a second, but I like all kinds of chocolate and these blankets and dogs. Oh, good. But so they figured it out together. What exactly she likes, and got her all that stuff at the same time. It's I mean, he shouldn't have had to spend all that money on this guessing game, but
right.
But it's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got out of the way what I don't like and what I do like. Now you know.
Right.
And we got all this stuff here. Thank you. And then they sort of have a nice moment. They don't exactly hug or Maddie's not at that level yet. And she's not openly nice and romantic. But
yeah.
In the ideal way, but she's opening up a little bit, which is good.
Yeah.
And so Desdemona, under the influence of the full moon in her black outfit, she comes to Emma's house or somewhere, and no, the space desk decal was in Desdemona's PE office.
Yes, the PE office, right?
That teacher's office. I got mixed up with my notes. Sorry.
That's okay.
Under the influence of the full moon spells, her personality is totally changed. I'm say the opposite of what normal Desdemona would say. Yeah, you should just date Daniel still. Screw the rules. Just do what you want. You're the chosen one. You should be telling others how to live. you're top dog. Uh, and then gives Emma a spell for memory loss reversal. She
Mhm.
offers that up, and
Yeah.
is in her black outfit. And so later on, Emma is at Daniel's house trying to watch over him in his German state.
Right.
Uh, yes, I ride at high school. Yes. Oh my god. At least this is about to end the whole
Yeah.
German accent stuff. She's about to put an
Yes.
end to that with the spell.
Thank goodness.
And she casts a spell which is very specific. This she has Daniel like walk over to a closet with a bunch of boxes that are like with the door open, and she says, "This crash will put Daniel's memory back on track, but he won't remember how he got his memory back."
Right.
Uh, she stipulates all that in a simple like short rhyme. It's very
Yeah.
efficient.
Yes.
This and then this and then this and also this, and it rhymes.
Mhm.
Uh, and so the boxes fall on top of him. Whoa!
Right.
Uh, uh, and but they're pretty light. He's not hurt at all. So
Yeah.
then he's like, "Oh, Daniel, are you okay?" And then he gets back up, like, "Yeah, I'm fine." He's back to normal, and he's like, "Whoa, what happened?" "Oh, some stuff just fell. It was weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
but glad you're okay." And then, but Jax using his like magic like TV screen powers to like see what's happening from remote locations.
Yeah.
Um, he sees this and he is mad. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, can't believe that they worked this out. And Daniel and Emma are still together. Urgh.
Yeah.
Thwarted again. And then in the last scene of this episode, Desdemona goes to the magical abyss realm cloud room where Ramona's imprisoned, like with her hands like venom goo stuck to the table, and and Desdemona is like, "Hello, Ramona. Uh, I'm evil now. Wahaha. And I'm going to destroy the magic realm. I have a plan to enact using the chosen one, and I'm going to and now with the full moon and things going awry, I'm gonna take over everything and be the last witch standing."
Yeah.
And that's and Ramona's like, "Oh dear, things are gonna go bad."
Right. And what a cliffhanger ending.
Yeah, that's what we're left on.
Yep.
Whew. Are you intrigued to see what happens to Emma from
Oh, of
here?
course. Yeah.
Man, this show is pretty crazy, eh?
Yes.
You just had a small sample of it. Um
Right.
and I know it's been a few weeks now since you watched it
Right.
first, cuz like I invited you on, and then the first time we were going to record I had car trouble and couldn't do it that day.
Right.
Then a week ago we recorded the whole episode, but then it
The
didn't work
the
out.
computer corrupted the file. Yeah.
I thought we said it was Desdemona. She did it. Yeah,
I think it was. I think it was the full moon.
yeah, yeah. Desdemona, under the influence of the full moon, corrupted the file so that we
Hmm.
couldn't do this podcast revealing her plan.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we've thwarted that.
That's
Fingers
right.
crossed. Fingers crossed that
Yes.
this will actually work, and
Yes.
and we'll have gotten this episode done,
Yeah.
and finally out to everyone. It's been a while since the last episode I've uploaded. Um, the previous one that I recorded had like other audio problems, like room
Mm,
echo that I've had to edit. It was, yeah, sorry for anyone who's listened to that and it had that, like, it felt that be annoying. I couldn't like fix it perfectly. It was anyway. Sorry. Um, but yeah, it was great to be with you, Jessica.
yeah.
Are there any final thoughts that you have about the experience you've had and with watching this show, and things that you think about it?
Well, I enjoyed it, and I thought it
Hmm.
it reminded me a lot of certain relationships and characters in Gem and the Holograms, which
Yeah,
we talked about a little bit.
yeah,
Um and I always like something with a little witchy edge,
yeah.
so that was definitely enjoyable. Thank you for having me.
Of course, and like this show is fascinating. You can see, like, especially with it being one that you have to like keep up with, and like it's constantly advancing the
Right.
plot episode by episode. You can see why younger me just ate this up. Uh,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
it,
And
it,
it does make you want to watch, the next episode and see what happens. Yeah.
exactly. Just gotta keep going. See what happens. So yeah, it was great to be with you, Jessica. Maybe we can do this again sometime. We'll
Sure.
see, like depending on your schedules. And now you're on board with the Every
Right.
Which Way,
Exactly.
and
Cool.
and have found the characters endearing, much like our friend Amy. I
Yes.
think there's a reason that that uh, that I and like to an extent you guys like gravitate toward both this show and Jim. There's a lot of commonalities
Yeah,
in the way they're enjoyable. Um,
definitely. Yeah.
silly, but with a lot of
Right.
weird aspects to them to think about,
Yeah.
and like some pretty unique sides to them
Yeah.
that not a lot of other things have. So yeah. All right. So
Great.
it was great to be with you, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Check
so
out
much, Raina.
where can people find what you do? You do your video work and your exciting dance stuff. So where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, so I have two different YouTube channels. I have one YouTube channel that's my production work, but it's also got doll related stuff because I
Yeah,
I like collecting dolls.
a
So
lot of
that
gem dolls.
mostly gem dolls, yeah, but some other stuff too.
Yeah,
But that one is Multi J Houston, and then my other YouTube channel is my dance YouTube channel, and I do so much dance stuff now that I had to make it a new channel for that. So
yep,
that
yeah,
separate channel is Jessica Belly Dance, and that's JESSIKAH Belly Dance.
yeah. It's awesome. He's a really good dancer,
Thank you.
and clearly the Academy of Television thinks you're pretty good at your production work, awarding you with two different Emmys. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah, I have 2 Emmys and I've been nominated 4 times. I mostly did documentary work when I worked for various television stations, but
Mm-hmm.
I've done a variety of stuff. I've pretty much done everything you can try, like um, public
Mm-hmm.
service announcements, commercials, music videos, um, dramas, newscasts,
Yeah.
magazine format. So pretty much everything.
Very, very cool. Yeah, congratulations on all your success in those
Thank you.
areas.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, people like us are ideal to dive in on a show like this with a lot of um, production idiosyncrasies and like just seeing the way that it was put together. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I've discussed under that lens with a few other people I know as well. It's exciting, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can see why a decade later I would start an entire podcast about a show like this, like go with a nostalgia bend to it. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think that's really fun and unique and creative.
yeah. Multiple podcasts already existed about Gem, but none existed about this show. So
Exactly.
I realized if no one else that no one else was going to, so I had to be the one. And
Why not? Yeah.
it's been a great time thus far, including with you. Hope we can do this again sometime.
Yeah, I hope so
So yeah,
too. Cool.
thank you so much, Jessica, and everyone follow Jessica on her YouTube channel, as she said. Follow the Every Watch Way Facebook page and on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, wherever is most convenient for you. Subscribe, give it a review, like all those things. Share it around to people that you know. Any fans of people in your of this show in your life, or people who might find this interesting, I'd love to hear from you. Share it around, and take care, everyone. Have an excellent week. And finally, best
Best
magical
magical
wishes.
wishes.